the first things I did was adjust the doors. It's not too bad. Just loosen those off a little bit. The fit's not like perfect, but it was rubbing like right along here. And then you just have to use an 8 and a 10 mil, raise up the latch. The bottom part of the doors are really nice. The top's kind of floppy. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna have to do something. We'll see. When I had the seat off, I also noticed that there was some grease nipples that didn't seem to have any grease on them. So before I take it for its maiden voyage, I'm gonna go over all the nuts and bolts and check all the grease nipples and grease everything, and then I'm gonna use that red can of rust check. I always spray down everything with that stuff after every wash. So before this thing gets full of dirt, I'm gonna spray everything metal. It doesn't matter if it gets on the rubber, it won't do anything to rubber. It's that red rust check. Not sure how there's grease nipples on the U joints. You can see it there. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get that, but I'll try. Manual seems alright. I just finished taking off all the warning stickers. They came off real nice, except for the ones that were sort of on the camo imprint. So I'm gonna grease the whole thing now. I don't know how many grease nipples there are, but periodic service. Checking. Changing the engine oil. Where is it? Oh, greasing. Page 10.9. Some of the pictures are kind of blurry and some of the printing, but 10.9. Greasing every 50 hours. I was hoping it'd show grease points, but I guess I'll just have to look. So down here on the rear drive shaft, you've got those two grease nipples, and then there is one on each of those U joints I can't get at. Then there's also down here, there's one on each side of the stabilizer bar. So 6 on the back. And I found this nut laying down in the belly pan, the skid plate. I don't know, I looked all over the place. Looks like everything's in place, but I don't know. Maybe it got dropped in the factory. Also noticed this. This is why you gotta do your own inspection. This black boot, it wasn't all the way on, it was just jammed on, and then when I went to grab it, I noticed that the solenoid can just come right out. And there's this little flippy tab and an 8 mil here. So that needs to be pushed all the way down. And then this little guy swings in like that. And you tighten up your 8 mil bolt. Keep the starter solenoid from flipping out on the trail. That would suck. Just little things like that. And you never like to find a loose nut or just a nut laying there. And on the front, you've got grease nipples on the upper and lower control arms. You can kind of see those four. There's a little bit of red grease on the nipples still. So you got those four, and one on this side for the stabilizer bar. You can see the other one on the other side. So there is 10 on the front. And then down on the front U-joint, there is also 2. There's, I don't know, it's not gonna focus. There's one there, with grease all over the place. And there's one on that U-joint, which I cannot get at the moment. And also, when I was down here, just down at that little skid plate on the front there, underneath the diff, I found this 13mm impact socket. I wonder if that came all the way from China. Who knows? So just a little look through from the passenger side. 12 grease nipples on the front and 6 on the back. There aren't any grease nipples on the tie rod ends or the ball joints, or this machine has the trailing arm suspension, so there's no other grease joints there, grease nipples there. I also found just little things. There's a million tie wraps on this machine. Like, there's tie wraps everywhere. I don't know. But this guy here for the oxygen sensor was just laying there like that, flopping around. Lots of little things that you might find. You might want to reposition some of the tie wraps. I did on the front. There was a spot here where a brake line was actually just gonna be rubbing right on the upper control arm as it pivots. So I just repositioned a couple more tie wraps. Tie wraps, tie wraps. So next up is this stuff, rust check. I spray it all over everything. It doesn't hurt the rubber. I used it on my 2022 Yamaha Grizzly that I just sold, and it literally still looked like brand new, like it just came off the floor. I get all the hose clamps, all the nuts and bolts, all the springs, all these threads and heim joints. Just don't get it on your brakes. They're little nuts and bolts. It's great. Anyways, you get the point. I'm gonna carry on. I do it probably at least 4 or 5 times a year, and then when you wash the bike, everything just comes right off, and then you can give it another spray right after if you'd like. Might as well, keeps everything shiny and stops it from rusting up. This is pretty cool too. Nice little hood release latch here. And you pull that, hood pops. There's a little prop rod there. Coolant, your overflow jug. You can see the level down there. Air filter. I was looking all over the place for the fuse box, and it is down here in the center in this door. MP9 comes with the Allen key and the toolkit, so you just have to undo those 2 screws and there's your fuse panel. Next thing is fuel treatment for ethanol. Grab this stuff. It says 1 ounce treats 19 liters, basically 20 liters. Recommended in small engines. Fuel capacity, liters, gallons, 30 liters. So I'm going to put 1.5 ounces in, which, it's weird, this thing says that it has 296 milliliters, but it's well above 300. I mean, the bottle does get skinnier at the top there, but I don't know. I'm just going to bring it down to, put about 1.5 ounces in. Give the machine a little shake. Oh, I can't get the top off. Anyhow, you get the point. I can't get the lid off with one hand. I'm gonna put that in, give the machine a good shake, and I think I'm ready for my maiden journey. Everything's greased, oiled, went through the nuts and bolts, found a socket from China, maybe. Popped the side windows out just because it's nice and warm out today. Ordered some vents that I'm going to cut into the front windshield. So stay tuned for those things. Going to put a heater in it, wiper. I know you're not supposed to put a wiper on polycarbonate windshields, but I'm going to do it anyways. They say soapy water and a microfiber cloth is about all you want to use on these. But they do make natural rubber wiper blades that are supposed to be, or silicone, which is supposed to be okay, kind of. You just have to be real gentle with these windshields. Anyways, see you on the next one. Bye.